Hey, I'm Richard. Welcome back to my kitchen. I got another great recipe to share with you today. A few episodes back, I did a recipe or showed you how to make hummus using chickpeas. Chickpeas are one of the more versatile ingredients you can use in the kitchen. And so I'm back today to show you another chickpea recipe. Let me cover the label. Chickpeas, which this also says garbanzo beans. What's the difference between a garbanzo bean and a chickpea? Trick question, they're the same thing. Apparently chickpea comes from like some old French and garbanzo bean comes from old Spanish. I looked it up. Wikipedia told me, so it has to be true. Anyways, so what I'm going to do is show you how to make roasted chickpeas. The reason I like this recipe so much is because you can do so much with it. It's the only real ingredient is chickpeas and a little bit of olive oil or avocado oil or some kind of, kind of non-flavored oil. And then you can season them however the hell you want. Be creative. You can make them sweet, you can make them savory, you can make them spicy, like me. There's no limit to what you can do with them. So let's get started. All right, so the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna open our can and drain and rinse the chickpeas. You wanna get all the gooey liquid off of them because it'll help them to crisp up when we cook them. All right, so just give them a quick little rinse. Doesn't take much. All right, next step is we're going to put them out on a towel and let them dry off a little bit. Now you can do this with paper towels, but I have found in my experience that once they start to kind of dry, they'll stick to the paper, which sucks. So what you want to do, I got just this kind of lint-free hand towel here. Spread them out a little bit, and we're going to let them dry for probably about, I don't know, 10 or 15 minutes, air dry. That's fine. You don't have to do anything too fancy. But what I usually do is, at this point, I'll preheat the oven to 400 degrees Fahrenheit. And by the time that's ready, these will be ready to go in. So I'll see you in 15 minutes. So it's been about 10-15 minutes. The oven's pretty much warmed up. These are pretty much dry. I mean, you can always kind of spot check them a little bit with a paper towel. Barely got anything off of them, so they're good to go. One other thing, when you have them out here, once they're drying up and about ready to go in the oven, pull off any little loose skins that you see. Just toss them. They'll kind of burn a little bit in the oven, but for the most part, it's not that huge of a deal. So what I'm going to do now, since these are ready to go, let me put this in a strategic spot, is roll these out onto the tray, like so. Presto. All right, we want to get these into a nice layer, and then we're going to put them in the oven, and we're going to bake them for about, or roast them, sounds fancier, for about 20 minutes. And at the 10-minute mark, I recommend just give them a little swirl like that, just to keep them from sticking to the pan. And at the 20-minute mark is when we're going to add a little bit of oil and some of the seasoning. So stay tuned. Hey, you made it back just in time. I'm about to get these out. I gave them the little shuffle halfway through. They're not looking too pretty at the moment, but they're getting there. What we do now is we give a little bit of oil and we season them. I'm going to use a little bit of extra virgin olive oil. Actually, I'm going to do one other thing here. To make it easier to season them, I'm going to go ahead and put them all on one side of the pan. Smart, nah? And then just drizzle a little oil over them. You don't need a ton because you don't want to soak it, but you want to make sure you get enough that you can coat them. And any that hit the floor, your dogs will eat. My dogs love chickpeas. All right, got a decent little coating there. All All right, I've got about, I don't know, a couple of teaspoons of kosher salt. Don't need a ton. A little bit of black pepper. And what I'm using today, I've done this with so many different things. I'm using some Jamaican curry. It's a little sweet, a little spicy, a little fruity. It's not too unlike Indian curry. I'm not sure exactly what the ingredient difference is, but then we're going to just mix that around a little bit. And it looks really messy. It is. But that's good. Messy is good. All right. Get them all rolled around and seasoned. Knock that off. All right, I'm going to put it back in now. And I'm going to do the same thing I did before. I'm going to let it cook or roast for about 10 minutes, give it a little shake, and then finish it off for another 10 minutes. And by that time, they should be nice and crispy. We'll be back. All right, so 40 minutes have passed. I gave them another shake after I let them cook for another 10 minutes after seasoning them. So now we should be good to go. Take a look here. Oh yeah, they browned up nicely. All right, let me, this is kind of an ugly display, so let me put them into something a little bit classier. All right, now that I've classed this place up a little bit, the chickpeas turned out great. Like I said earlier, you want to cook them 400 for about 10 minutes, give them a shake, another 10 minutes, season them, put them back in, 10 minutes, shake. It's almost like a dance routine. And at the 40-minute mark, they should be done. You can season them any way you want. Like I said, I just use a little salt and pepper. And then whatever you have in the cabinet, whatever inspires you. Go for salty, sweet, anything you want. These are wonderful. They're crispy, they're warm. A couple other little tips. Don't store these in the fridge because it'll make them really mushy. I would recommend just putting them in an airtight container on the counter. These are good for probably, I don't know, 2 or 3 days if they even last that long, but they're much better warm. You can reheat them maybe just slightly in a toaster oven or something. They're great on salads, great for snacking. Another fun fact is that with chickpeas, that cooking them actually increases the nutritional value. Amazing. So give it a shot. I'll post the ingredients down there. If you like it, please leave a comment, leave a rating. Tell me how awesome these are. And as always, check out my blog, check out my short stories, check out my podcast. If you like this, please subscribe. Subscription button's somewhere over here. Comments below. Hope to see you next time. Cheers.